Thank you so much for listening to the Shawn1113 podcast show on whatever platform you are listening to, anywhere and everywhere in the world. So let's converse, shall we? First and foremost, if you love this content, please, on this podcast, please hit the 5-star rating, comment below, and share this on whatever platform you are listening to, like Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify for creators, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Audacity, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and many other podcasts that pretty much are now in anywhere where in the world. So from the U.S. to Switzerland to, I mean, it's pretty much all over the world now. So for wherever you're listening to and anywhere you're listening to, please thank you for listening to this podcast. Now, we got a lot of sports to talk about here, so let's get to it. Or, so let's converse, shall we? Also, it's going to be on X and on YouTube as well, so check everything out wherever you're listening to. Now, before we do that, let's go to the Major League Baseball standings first, and we got a lot of things to talk about. We will eventually get to the college and pro football, so don't worry about that. And a lot of this is going to be listed. For the Major League Baseball, congratulations are in order. Let me order to Toronto Blue Jays and New York Yankees in the American League East, clinching postseason berths. The American League West, the Seattle Mariners look like they're going to win. Like I said, the last pretty much week of the MLB regular season, the Seattle Mariners probably win the division. Who knows what's going to happen? They're getting hot. And then the AL Central has gotten real interesting. Cleveland and Detroit has pretty much flip-flopped. In fact, in the last 10, Cleveland has been 9-1 and Detroit is 1-9. Talk about reverse of fortune. Who's going to get? I'm thinking there's only one. They both more likely get in the playoff, but then Houston is lurking as well, 1 game, 2 games out of the wild card, and the Red Sox are ahead of the wild card. The 2 last places. I think whoever wins the AL Central is going to go to the playoffs. I think it's going to be one, if not both. So Cleveland and Detroit. I think it's going to get to the last day on the regular season on that one. Seattle and the Red Sox will probably go in the last season, but along with the Blue Jays, Yankees, and Mariners. So very interesting last week or two of the season for the AL. The Phillies won the division. Congratulations to them for the AL East, as I like predicted. The Brewers and the Cubs are also in. Congratulations. And my Dodgers and Padres as well. The real interesting which is going to be the Mets, Reds, and Diamondbacks for that last wild card spot. And that's going to go to the last day as well. So we'll see what happens there. English Premier League, the English Premier League at the pitch. Liverpool has a sizable lead again. 5-point lead over Arsenal, Tottenham, and Bournemouth, surprisingly. Kind of surprising to see Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest not doing well for 4 points. My Man United got a tie from Arsenal. Um, it was 7 and 9. We'll see what happens there. But Liverpool look like they're going to repeat as champions of the English Premier League at the pitch right now, unless barring the collapse. So I'll tell you, like I said, things are switching over at the pitch there, and Liverpool is the leader in the English Premier League. And if you want to comment a little about who's doing in what league, La Liga, Bundesliga, what have you, um, comment below on that. I'm just familiar with the English Premier League. I'm not saying I'm ignorant or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what I know about that. So you got, please comment if you have something that for world football. So I don't say soccer because a lot of people get A little antsy about that, but I do know it's the pitch. I can tell you that. That is English Premier League currently. Now I'm going to go to the. Now coming up pretty soon is the NHL standings, and I mean, ooh, okay. Let me correct myself. The National Hockey League regular season coming up on October 7th, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be pretty soon. Who's going to go to the Eastern Conference? So I'm going to go right now. I'm going to say Florida Panthers, Toronto, Tampa Bay, and probably Ottawa. They have improved pretty much. They're going to come out the Atlantic. And then in the Metropolitan East, I'm going to take Carolina, Washington, New Jersey, and probably the New York Rangers at this point. Now in the Western Conference, Winnipeg, Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis, in my opinion, are going to go out the Central. Will make the playoffs there. And then Vegas, the LA Kings, Edmonton, and the Vancouver will go out in the Pacific Division. Will come in the playoffs. I'll see. I can be wrong, but that'll be the NHL season in a nutshell. If, for hockey fans out there, now. So with that, now we get to the Shawn Steele's NFL and college football picks right here and there. And I'll tell you, college has been a really interesting season so far. We did find out one thing though, a couple of things actually. Um, Illinois is a fraud, and I was proven wrong against Indiana. Indiana look like they're not a 1 year wonder anymore. They have what it takes to go to the Big Ten and test themselves. So Illinois seemed like they're a fraud. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens there. A lot of things can happen in college football. Notre Dame that lost at Texas A&M. Let's see what happens there. Miami beating Florida. I wonder they're going to fire their coach for Florida. I mean, it's a brutal schedule, by the way. And in the NFL, I wonder if um, I think the New York Giant fans are counting the days that when Brian Dable gets fired. I think Tennessee is the same thing with Brian Canada. Great probably a good assistant, but not ready to be a head coach in the National Football League, in my opinion. And of course, my Miami Dolphins with Mike McDaniel. That's ongoing. They played better, but you still have no wins. You have nothing in the W column, and you have everything in the loss column. So we'll see what happens there. So with that, Shawn Steele's CFP pick 6, week 5. Actually, that's how fast things gone. Now let's make these picks. LSU and Ole Miss picking Ole Miss. Auburn and Texas A&M picking Texas A&M. USC and Illinois picking USC. Are USC back? TCU and Arizona State picking TCU. Alabama and Georgia is a hard pick. I'm going to pick Georgia. Oregon, and then Oregon, the big one against Penn State. I'm picking Oregon until some further notice on that. Because I want to see if Penn State wins the big game that they're supposed to win. We'll see what happens there. Now pick four. I mean, ugh. Ah! Shawn Steele's NFL picks week 4, 2025, 2026. We're going to start Thursday night, September 25th. Seattle and Arizona picking Seattle. Minnesota and Pittsburgh in Dublin, Ireland, picking Minnesota. Carolina and New England picking New England. Cleveland, Detroit picking Detroit. The LA Chargers and New York Giants picking the Chargers. And everything's going to be listed, so don't worry about that. The football picks are New Orleans and Buffalo picking Buffalo. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay, picking Philadelphia. Tennessee and Houston, picking Houston. Somebody's got to win their first game. Washington and Atlanta, picking Washington. Indianapolis and the LA Rams. Tough loss for the Rams, but I'm picking the Rams over Indianapolis. Indy's a much better team than anybody giving credit for. But I'm picking the Rams here. Jacksonville and San Francisco, possible upset, but I'm going to pick San Francisco. Baltimore and Kansas City, picking Baltimore. But I still wonder if they're at home. Well, I'm not even going to touch it, but I'm picking Baltimore over Kansas City. Chicago and Las Vegas, picking Chicago. Green Bay and Dallas, the Michael Parsons game, but I'm picking Green Bay. Monday night is a doubleheader. We got so many doubleheaders in the Monday night column. Wow. And I think the next 2-3 weeks, I'm not, well, I don't know. But New York Jets and Miami, in the first one, picking Miami to get their first win, hopefully. And then Cincinnati and Denver, picking Denver. That is week 4 of the NFL and week 5 of the college football pick 6. And with that, that is the Shawn1113 podcast show for September 24th, recorded September 24th. And of course, you can go on every platform you'll be listening to, anywhere and everywhere in the world. And with that, that is the Shawn1113 podcast show. Thank you so much for listening. Please stay encouraged no matter what, and live your life as normal as possible in an abnormal world. God bless you.